Okay, today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about a scalp trade. I don't share all my trades all the time, every day, because I don't really believe that's a good way for people to learn. I know there's people out there that just stream their trading all day long and follow me and you'll be a billionaire. Well, anybody that's done that, you find out pretty quick that just isn't true. You really have to be willing to hone your own skills, and that usually takes time and patience. And so let's talk about a scalp trade. I'll talk about two scalp trades I made today. We'll look at the charts just real quick. Today was a super, super tight day. The range was very, very small. So I'm going to talk about how did I make money on such a tight range day. So you can see the first scalp here was $100, right? There it is. This was a futures trade. I traded the E-mini futures and I made $100. All right. Let's take a look at the other one. All right, and here is the second scalp trade. And the total for the day was $312.50. You can see up here I had traded two contracts, right? The first $100 I showed you was the first contract, and I was pretty much going to just call it quits, because I really just did that scalp to show my members how to use my service even on a tight day and how to make some money. But the market was showing a little bit more opportunity, so I went ahead and did another scalp, and then there's your total for the day for the two trades I made. And again, the second scalp was also the E-mini. So a total of $312.50. Okay, now let's go look over at the chart and I'll talk about this trade, these two trades real quick, okay? Okay, so here we are with three different charts. These are similar to the three charts that I show for the member streaming. Now this is a little bit more crunched up because the streaming chart's a little bit easier to read. This is on my different computer. But let's just talk about the trade, that first trade I made for the first scalp. Now you'll notice right here at about 10:30 on this is the 5-minute chart. This signal came up on the Get Us Plus indicator. So I'm going to go through my thought process on a really tight doji day, which I saw the range was tight, and how did I make the decision to take this trade. First, I'm going to talk about what I liked about the setup prior to actually taking the position, and I'm also going to talk about what I didn't like prior to taking the position. This is a really important process. This is where a lot of traders get it wrong. You want to firmly understand a sense of risk, your risk tolerance before you take the trade. So I'm going to go through how I did this trade. So first I'm going to talk about what did I like about it. So we're going to look at multiple time frames. Normally you got the 5-minute, the 15-minute, and the 1 hour here. Prior to taking any position, regardless of which charts I'm looking at, I'm always aware of the weekly and the daily chart. Very important to be aware of multiple time frames. And a lot of traders don't get this right. They trade the 1-minute chart, they trade the 5-minute chart, they only trade this chart, only trade that chart. If you're aware of multiple time frames, you're gonna be a far better trader. Okay, so first let's take a look at the 5-minute chart here. So the alert came in, my Get Us Plus indicator is my own indicator with my own logic. It came in at 10:30. So we're gonna blow this up for a second and I'm gonna talk about what I liked about the 5-minute chart. Okay. Let's get this a little bit more like this so we can take a better look at it. Okay, it's a little bit better. All right, so we're talking about this alert right here, 10:30. And I was looking at this streaming chart, all three streaming charts at the same time, but I looked at the 5 minutes, saw this alert come up, and I said, okay, what is it about this that I like? Well, what I like about right away, if obviously the alert came up, right? There's an indication that from this particular indicator, the algorithm and the logic behind this says there could be a trade here. So that's number one. Number two, I could see that the SMI, which is the stochastic momentum index, is beginning to wane here, and it's getting below the top line, right? Because just to be clear here, I'm contemplating a short side trade, okay? So I like that. I can see that the MACD is at this point, is kind of just sitting on the 0 line. That's neither good nor bad. It's a little bit on the positive side when this alert came in. So I got to be a little bit careful there. But I could see that the MACD was beginning to pinch here. It wasn't big and fat and wide. The lines were coming together. So There's a lot of good things right here at this moment on the 5-minute chart that I like. Okay, there's some other things in here I'm not going to dive too deep into. I can see it's getting rejected off the 20 line here. This is, I think, it's considered 20. Maybe it's considered 20 hours. I have to look. I can't remember exactly how this set up right there, but I can tell it's having a hard time getting above the 20 here. I think this is called 280. Here I have set it as 288, but basically I think I'll have to go back and do the math, but I think that's 20 hours or something like this. Okay. So I can see it's hitting some resistance here. So a lot of good things going on here right at this moment on the 5-minute chart. All right. So that's good. Let's go look at the 15-minute chart. Because remember, I'm looking at all time frames at the same time, multiple time frames, so I can get a sense what's going on. Okay, here's 1030. 1030 is right in this area. Let's see, where's exactly is it? It's right there on that red candlestick. Okay, so this is 1030. Remember, the other chart we looked at is 5 minutes, but this one's 15 minutes. So what is it about this chart? Do I like it or do I hate it, or is it somewhere in between? Well, it's somewhere in between. At the time that I was looking at this trade, the SMI was like just right up in this area. Okay. It wasn't as high as, let's say, over here like this. I'd rather see it above this top line. Because remember, I'm thinking about taking a short side trade. Ideally, I'd want it to be very peaky. Okay, but you can't always get everything you want. Have the 5 to 15 minute charts both doing the same thing. But I kind of like it. I don't love it, but it's not horrible. But it's rising and I need to be careful. Right? Now, on the MACD, though, it's below the 0 line already at this point. Right? It's below it. Even at that 1030, it's right here. It's below it. So that's a good sign. Though it's crossing over and coming, it's crossed over up, it's still below this 0 line. So on the 5-minute chart, I would rate it about an 8 or 9 out of 10 as looking good. On this chart, I give it like a 6 or a 7. Okay. So right now we're kind of like leaning towards, yeah, the trade is favorable, but gonna have to be careful. Okay, let's look at the hourly chart. Okay. Now remember that we're talking around about 10:30 in the morning, so that's about right here on this candlestick. This one. Get this thing to work with me right here. Do I like this chart for? Is this chart contributing to my desire for short side trade? No, it's not. It's not that good at all. The SMI is already at the bottom. If anything, I'd have a concern at this time that it might be, see how this is already starting to curl up a little bit right here? I have a concern it may actually start going up. It may do one of these deals. So this chart's not contributing to my desire to short at all. Oh, I shouldn't say not at all, but mostly it's not. The only kind of good thing is the MACD was a little bit separated here and it was heading down. Okay, but there's not much to this chart that I'm looking at this and saying, wow, this is really helping me make a short side trade. Definitely not happening. Okay, so now we looked at all three charts. You know, basically what I'm doing is I'm going to go through and rate each of these charts because each of them are going to contribute to my decision to make a trade, okay? So on this chart, I got like maybe an 8, let's say out of 10. This chart's like a 6, and this chart's more like a 3. Okay? Now, I'm not necessarily, you could add all three of those numbers together, divide by the 3 and get your average and do all that stuff. That's probably a good way to go in the beginning if you're a new trader. You really get mathematical about it. Okay, but I knew that this trade was probably somewhat risky. And I also knew, based on looking at the 1 hour chart, that this was going to be a very short duration trade. I wasn't going to hold on to this as a swing trade. This was going to be just like maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes at the most, because I felt like the window of opportunity was going to be tight based on all the analysis I just talked about, okay? That's really important to understand that. It wasn't just, hey, I'm going to go and I've decided today that I'm going to do some scalp trading just because I feel like scalping. That's got nothing to do with it. The only reason I took a scalp trade is because the condition of the market, according to all the 5 charts I look at, but particularly the 3 that we just looked at, dictated that it was a scalp trade. Quick, in and out. Sometimes it could be completely different. The market could be telling me stay in the trade for hours, maybe even days, and make huge money, hopefully, right? But I want you to understand that I didn't just go and scalp because I want to be a scalper, That's total baloney. I scalped because the market was telling me your opportunities are going to be short. So take the position if you're going to do it, accept the risk, be prepared to get out of the trade quickly. Okay, let's go back to the 5-minute chart. All right, so I got into the trades. I think it was somewhere in here, somewhere right in this area. Okay, where's the 1030 one? It's right here, yeah. So I got into this trade on one of these two candlesticks, somewhere up in this area, okay? I remember it being right around 76, 77. It was in this area. And now I'm going to tell you about the exact experience, because this is where a lot of traders who may talk about their profits, but they don't talk about the actual, what do you experience emotionally, psychologically, all this stuff. So what was going on during these about 20 or 30 minutes, whatever it is here? Well, my profit loss it was an E-mini, it was bouncing all over the place, right? Not a lot, but it was bouncing around a little bit. I was running a loss of about $12.50, which is just one tick. And then it got up to $25 profit. Then it went to 37, went to 50, 75, went up to 82, came all the way back down to like 25, 0, back up to 50, down to 36. It just kept bouncing around between like $0 and $75. It just kept going back up and down and up and down for that first $100 trade that I showed earlier in the video, okay? And in my mind, I said, I'm going to try to extract $100 out of the market. That was just a number that I had, and I was going to wait to see if the market was going to give it to me. So that's, if you're a new trader, a lot of people get very emotional, right? They're bouncing, their knees are shaking, they're bouncing up and down, their palms are sweaty because the market's moving and vacillating up and down, and they see their profit loss go from green to red, big profit, small profits, jumping all around. And a lot of traders jump out of the trade, jump back in the trade. They're losing money on commissions because futures, you still pay commissions, unlike stock, right? And they're just making terrible decisions jumping in and out of trades instead of being patient. Right? I did the analysis, right? We got the analysis done. I made a decision about it. I went with it. The analysis gave me an answer that I thought was good enough to go ahead and make a short side trade. I knew it was going to be quick. I knew it was going to be very scalpish in nature, right? Okay, so the market finally gave up and moved in the direction that I wanted to, and it came down into this area here. Started getting down into here. And at some point, it got one tick over $100, and I closed the position. And in this case, I did not have any stop loss sitting there. I didn't have any trailing stops because it was a pretty tight trade. I was basically just sitting there with the mouse, right? Watching the market do its thing. I wasn't sweating palms and shaky knees or any of that because that's how I used to trade. That's how I used to trade. I used to be a horrible trader. But nowadays, I don't do that. I trust my analysis and I go with it. So when it finally gave me the $100, I just, I had, on my broker, you can just click kind of like a auto trade rule, not auto trade, but instant trade. As soon as you just click on the vertical tick prices on futures, it will basically put the position for you, or I should say, put the order in for you, which executed immediately because the S&P 500 is huge volume, lots of activity. It's going to execute almost immediately. Okay, so that was the first trade. And that's how I did it. That's how my analysis and everything got me into the first trade. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about the second trade, the second scalp. So the second scalp came a little bit later. I waited because I could see that the 5-minute chart had reached its bottom on the SMI here. And I just relaxed a little bit, let it do its thing. Okay, I was busy doing some work or whatever, and I saw it got up to here. Let's go back to all three charts again. Okay. So let's see, the 1030 was here. I could see it came up. It was getting kind of peaky, started coming down. I could see at the same time, that's right around here, is all this chop going on. A lot of chop going on the 15-minute chart. I could see it was below the green line. And even though I didn't have any Get Us Plus indicator telling me to make a trade, exactly at this point, there wasn't anything. Okay, because we only go off the yellow triangles here, okay? I could, at this point, somewhere over in this area, I could see that the SMI on the 15-minute chart was beginning to roll over, and it never really got, this is what I was hoping for, by the way. It never really got very peaky. It didn't get way up here like this. It just kind of fizzled out right here. I was like, great, the 1 hour chart's SMI is still kind of sitting down here at the bottom, right? The MACD kind of pinched and then threatening to go up, but it started to widen out a little bit again, right? It starts going down again. See that? And so I was like, okay, this was about somewhere in this area. This was beginning to roll over. I didn't need a Get Us Plus indicator to tell me to go make a trade now, because I got a pretty good sense that this is going to pull back. Plus, remember, I'm fully aware of both the weekly and the daily, and they both are screaming pullbacks. They're both screaming pullback. The market's overheated. So I got that in the back of my mind, because if I have to turn this into a swing trade, I might do it, because the market was, in my opinion, is favorable for it to a pullback to happen here, probably on the daily chart. So in other words, I may be trading intraday and trading short-term charts here, but I'm aware of the longer-term charts and their affinity for the direction they're going to move into, which I believe is very peaky right now. I believe is going to begin to curl over and start coming down in the next week or few days or whatever. Okay. The point being, I want my short-term intraday trading to match up with what the long-term charts are saying, right? I don't want to be trading short if the market's bullish. Now, the market's been very bullish, but I noticed it looked, my data is telling me it's very peaky. So it was, I'm kind of on the bleeding edge here a little bit, taking a short side trade intraday with the market being as strong as it is. But I had a sense the market was getting ready to pull back, so that's why I took these trades in, okay? All right, so as this began to show some price decline, this is showing price decline, this is showing price decline. Okay, the indicators are starting to roll over here. I went ahead and took a second scalp position. You got to remember, again, this day was super tight. The candlestick was small, was barely even red at this point for the daily candlestick. Okay, and I think I added, another $262 or whatever it was. I think I finished the day 362 or 352 or 325, whatever it was, $300 and some, right? So I added another $200 and some on top of the first scalp. This one I could tell was going to run a little longer. Also, if you look over here on the hourly chart, this also contributed to me taking the second scalp, and I'm going to finish up the video with this. Here on the hourly chart, I already had in these cycles. This is 2 o'clock my time. I'm in Texas. Okay, 10's over here, right? 10 o'clock's like right over in this area. But I already knew that based on cycle analysis, this green semicircle, that we were forecasting for the market to have a low right around 2 o'clock today, intraday. And sure enough, look what it did. It came right down in there. When was that exactly? Let's take a look. Okay, the low looks like it was about 1 o'clock. We missed it by an hour. Okay, 12 or 1. I'll take that any day of the week to be within 1 hour of the low. You follow what I'm saying? You don't have to be, in cycle analysis, you don't have to be exactly spot on correct, even though that's ideal. If you're close, that's more than good enough to make really good bank. Everybody follow me on this? So the projection was 2 o'clock was going to be low, but it ended up being really ended up being 12 and 1 o'clock, and that's fine, because you're not going to. In this case, I'm trading short. I'm not going to wait till 2 o'clock to do the short side trade, because that's when the low is predicted. That's what this is saying. Okay. So 10, 11, and 12, those are all perfect times to trade short if I believe there's going to be a low in the market here. So the 1 hour chart and the cycles on the 1 hour chart help contribute to me making that second scalp trade. All right. All right, I know that's quite a bit of data, but I wanted to do something a little bit different here today. I wanted to show you that this is what the members are getting, right? The members get this. I use the service myself. This is my business. This is the service I provide for the members. This, you looked at 3 charts today. The streaming charts that the members get to see, I use the exact same streaming charts they're looking at on the Discord app. That's how I made the trade today, using my own service. And you saw the profit there was whatever, $300 and some odd on a day that was 32 in range. I mean, you can't get much smaller than that, right? So if you like the idea of the cycles and the Get Us Plus indicator, you want to become a member, let's look at what the membership provides, and you can decide for yourself whether or not you want to join, okay? Okay, so in the description just below this video is going to be a link. Well, actually, it's going to be some instructions. So make sure you read the instructions carefully so you don't have any problems joining. Okay, once you do that, then you can click on the link. It's going to bring you over to my server here, Get a Server. This is where all the services take place for the members. Once you get onto the server, you're going to click on Server Shop right here. It's going to bring you to this page right here, $7.99. Okay. Many of my members, they direct message me on the Discord server, or they're just chatting, and some of them share what their profits are. They're making $100 to $300 to $400 a day, 3 or 4 times a week. So the $7.99, they don't think about it. Okay, it's just coin. Now, I'm not going to promise you that you're going to make that kind of money, because that's up to you. That's up to your maturity level, your account size, how patient you are, whether or not you're willing to take the time to learn the service. If don't come and take in the service and just, I'm going to be a millionaire overnight. That's, everybody wants to hit the jackpot. That's just a bad way to go. What I would do is come into the service, maybe purchase 2 or 3 months worth of it. Don't do any trade in the beginning. Just learn how to use the streaming charts, understand what cycle analysis is on both the hourly chart and the daily chart. Use the Get Us Plus indicator, and just begin to, get on the nightly email. Let's talk about what comes included in the service. So first of all, you get the streaming charts, which is down here. So when you join, you just click on S&P 500 streaming charts, and 5 days a week, you'll see the S&P 500 streamed 5 minute, 15 minute, and 1 hour, okay? Including what I just showed in this video with the Get Us Plus indicator. Usually I do what's called the trade of the day. I don't normally do videos on Friday, but today I just wanted to share with my scalp trades with the public and with the members. Okay, but usually Monday through Thursday I do videos, and near the end of each of those videos on my YouTube channel, I talk about the trade of the day. So you might want to go back and watch those, because they're really helpful in understanding the trade of the day and how to use the Get Us Plus indicator, okay? So that's the streaming charts that comes with the membership. Whenever the Get Us Plus indicator indicates that there might be a good trade, it sends an alert over to this channel. So you also will get alerted. Most people just right-click on this channel right here, and they set notifications on, and they get notified. So this app you're looking at here, this Discord app, can be loaded on your desktop, your PC, it could be on a laptop. It could be even loaded on a mobile device. But like I said, make sure you read the instructions before you join if you want to only use your mobile device, okay? So streaming charts, alerts go here as well. We also send alerts out for gold, crude oil, and the top 30 stocks for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. Now, these don't have streaming charts, but they do have alerts. Okay, and daily alerts, this would be any symbol that I'm tracking. The top 30 stocks, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, are being tracked. If the daily chart has the Get Us Plus indicator indicating there might be a trade, then it'll send an alert here. Okay, there's some premium symbols in here that I put up every day, Monday through Thursday. Really nice. There's future symbols in there. There's stocks that are optionable in there. There's industry symbols in there, as well as stocks that look like they might or symbols that look like they're getting ready to be shorted. So I can be anywhere from 2 to 4 files in there each day, just depending on what the market's doing. Okay, currency, occasionally I trade currency. Usually currency I trade futures. I don't trade too much Forex, but I trade the futures. So it might be euro dollar, British pound, Aussie dollar, stuff like that. So if I ever do any trades, I put in there what I'm doing. Okay, every night I send out an email. So if you want to get the nightly email, make sure you put your email address in here in the emails only channel when you join. Okay, and the email consists of the S&P 500 chart is attached to the email, and I put at least 2 or 3 sentences in there, in the email about what I think the market's going to do. All right. Fixed income, I do occasionally buy corporate bonds. So if I do, I'll put in there what I might interested in, what I might be purchasing. And since we've had a lot of inflation the last few years, I also put in here CD rates as well as savings accounts that might be turning a lot of interest. Well, I have a savings account right now that's generating over 5% interest. But you can find that kind of stuff in here. Okay. And then these two channels are just general chat, S&P 500 chat. If you have a support issue, you can put it in the member chat right here. If it's specifically regarding emails, then just drop it in this channel. Okay. And then lastly, this channel here is just open to the public, but there's nothing in there. There's no services in here. It's just kind of like a hello, hi, I'm here kind of channel. Okay. And lastly, I just want to say, make sure you read the rules. If you're going to join or if you've already joined, please read the rules. In here is be nice to everybody else rules. The refund rule is in there, as well as a disclaimer that I'm not a financial advisor, that I only give my opinion. Okay, it's all in there, so please read the rules. All right. All right, so like I said, if you want to join, read the instructions, click the link, come to the server, click on server shop, and then $7.99. I honestly believe if you're patient and learn the service, like I said, I wouldn't even trade the first month or two and learn how to use the service. You're probably going to make enough money to easily cover the $7.99. All right, that's it. Hope everybody enjoyed the video about my little scalp trades and how you can even make money on really tight days. All right. Happy trading, everybody. God bless everybody. We'll talk to you all real soon again next time.